Hello, my name's Daniel and welcome to the Twisted Geek podcast. The main thing that's been seeming to be going around again now is regarding Bleach and the 1,000 Year Blood Wars. With Disney acquiring the license to Bleach, it's more than likely not going to be Simulcast. And this has been coming from a few different sources, including, unfortunately, my audio listeners, you won't be able to see up on screen here, from Cheapy Reviews. He has also more or less confirmed, based on one of his sources, which is James Hansen over on Twitter. Seems to be a very reliable source. Cheapy's used him a few times and what he's saying is normally correct. And that is, I say, is going to be that because Disney's got the license to it, it's more than likely not going to be Simulcast. There's a very high possibility it won't be. And if you don't know what simulcast in anime is, it essentially basically means when it is released in Japan, for example, today's Friday, and that, if it's released in Japan in the morning, within a few hours, we normally would have it all subtitled up on places like Funimation, Crunchyroll and all this, where we can watch it that same day it is released. Now with Disney and animes such as Summertime Rendering, that he was also talking about, that is essentially being put in what's classed as anime jail. We don't know when it's going to get released, so unfortunately people had to essentially pirate it if they want to see it. Even if you have a VPN and you put your location over to Japan and use Disney Plus then, you're still not going to be able to watch it unless you're fully or fluent in Japanese, because there's going to be no subtitles at all, and it's more than likely going to be exactly the same way with Bleach. And this does get quite annoying to say the least. It's been over 10 years now since the last episode of Bleach was actually aired. I've only just started getting the manga since the manga's been getting re-released, so I've not read all the different arcs from the manga. I think some of them go a little bit different than what is on the series itself, the anime series. I believe, I'm not much sure, just the way people are talking about it. But even if that's not the case, it's been 10 years since the anime ended. Absolutely love the anime. There's a lot of nostalgia around that for me. The music, the action, Ichigo and all this kind of thing, it brings back a lot of good memories and happy times. It is, of course, always been classed as one of the big three anime, along with Naruto and One Piece. So it is, to fans, a massive, massive anime. Even if you're not a huge fan of Bleach, or you might not even be keen on Bleach, you would have heard it and you know how big it essentially is. And for this to not be Simulcast is just going to cause massive issues. There's no way after 10 years we've been waiting that long to now finally get another series. Fair enough, this is going to be the final series, that is fine. But to finally get this another series, we're looking so much forward to. I've even been following on Twitter the Bleach countdown, seeing the post every day, counting down. I think the first start was maybe over 100, it's down to like 24 days now, maybe 23, because of course it's meant to air in October, the beginning of October, and that is just really, really disappointing that we're more than likely not going to be able to watch it on a week-by-week basis. Now I do have Disney Plus, I have Amazon Prime, Netflix, Crunchyroll. Happy enough to pay for a streaming service to legally watch something that I really want to see. On the other hand, it's probably me and maybe loads and thousands of people out there which will end up doing the same, and they'll end up moving to a pirate site if they want to watch Bleach. This means it's just going to be people getting the anime as it's been in Japan, basically fan subbing it themselves, so it might not be 100% accurate, but at least you'll be able to watch the anime itself. Not so different, I guess, from back in the day, bloody hell. Sound like a bit of Blake as well. Back in my day. But yeah, back in the day when you had to use, there's no places like Crunchyroll and Netflix and Amazon Prime and all this kind of thing to actually be able to watch anime on. You had to go through certain websites using BitTorrent, download the episode every single week and then watch it. It was all, of course, fan subbed, so if you got it from different fan subbers, the subtitles would be slightly different, and some of the names might have been slightly different in, or translation might be slightly different. In the end, that is how you used to have to watch anime. Like here in the UK, and I'm guessing that was exactly the same over in the USA and everywhere else, if you were, of course, in Japan and understood Japanese. And that is essentially what we're going to have to do. If Disney doesn't listen to the fans and doesn't actually subtitle it, translate it fully every single week on that day, or even the day after it's released, then people are going to pirate it. And all these big streaming companies always go on about, same exactly what Cheapy Reviews are saying, they go on and on about that they're sick of people pirating stuff, they're sick of people illegally doing things and watching their content outside of where it's licensed from. But if they're going to do stupid things like this and get an anime that we've been waiting so long for, and then essentially just shove it in anime jail, not knowing when we're going to get to see it officially and legally, then of course we're going to pirate it. I mean, we're happy to pay for our streaming service, we're happy to pay to watch it legally, but if you're not going to give it the opportunity to do that, then we only have one other option. It's kind of counterproductive of what they're doing. Don't pirate, but we're not going to release it to you, so you're going to have to pirate, so... It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. By the sound of things though, there is an upcoming announcement soon in the next couple of weeks, which we should be able to find out exactly how this is going to do, exactly how Disney is going to approach it. Hopefully through all this, they'll actually listen to the fans, they'll listen to the big people like Chibi Reviews and all the ones out there who are basically saying that we don't want this, we want it to be Simulcast every single week. And hopefully they'll listen and actually do that. Now, Summertime Rendering, I have not seen personally myself. I know it's locked in anime jail with Disney. I've not pirated it or anything like that. I heard it is a really good season. It's a must watch. I probably will get around to it at some point. But if they're going to do that, Netflix kind of does it as well. I know some of them lately they have been releasing them weekly. Like Uncle from Another World, he was in a coma for like 17 years and wakes up, he actually was in another world and wakes up. I believe they were releasing that weekly, so that was good. I only watched the first 2 episodes of that. That's mainly for me for the animation style. I'm not 100% keen on the way the animation style is. I do like the concept of the story, but not too keen on the animation style. I think I maybe just need to watch a little bit more. To me, I think that's a little bit like Ranking of Kings. Ranking of Kings, when you look at the thumbnail and look at the preview, art style is a lot different to what you expect from an anime, and that, no lie, that put me off for quite some time. But then, once I actually started watching the series, because it was recommended so much by so many people, I really enjoyed it. Fair enough, the last few episodes trailed off a little bit and it wasn't as good, but up until that point, it was actually a great anime. It was really good and really good watch. You just got to get past that anime style, and I think this one as well on Netflix will probably just be exactly the same. Just got to get past that style and move on. But of course, I've got other ones which I couldn't get into, like Saki K, which is like really short. And Netflix kind of puts them all together in like a 10 or 20 minute episode, but I believe they're all meant to be like short 3 to 5 minute episodes, and they're meant to be kind of quite funny. But I think the Japanese humour to the Western humour isn't quite the same sometimes. Don't get us wrong, some anime you laugh your tits off at, you go crazy and laugh at them, but this just didn't work for me. And I know there's a few people out there who was slightly saying I couldn't quite get into it. I watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes, which on Netflix is probably 10, 15, 20 episodes of the actual series itself. Just couldn't quite get into it. But my personal preference with anime, if I'm going to start something, I want to try to watch something, I always try to give it that, basically I do my 3 episode rule. If by end of episode 3, if you're not hooked, don't like it, then to me it's just not your taste, not your genre, or they're doing something completely wrong. And of course you've got other ones, such as, was it X-Arm or something like that? That's Crunchyroll released their own original one, which I couldn't even get past about 5 minutes. I think most people struggled for how bad that series was, especially at halfway through that they changed from this full CG to half CG, half not, which was so weird to see, and it was a complete mess. I couldn't handle it. I know people end up watching it just for the hilarity of it, but I couldn't waste my time on it. It was too much. But other long anime series as well, talking about Bleach, of course, was a long anime of 366 episodes, and you might have seen previous episodes where I interviewed Sean, and he was trying to get through as much as One Piece. Well, he told me to get through all of One Piece this year. I know he did like backtrack a little bit when we spoke to him on the last interview with him. I think it was a 340 or 370 episodes. He's told me now earlier in this week that he was on 555. So he went a massive jump in the past few weeks, massive jump into it, and he's really getting back into it. So I will definitely be getting him back on again soon, and we can discuss that and see how he's managed it, because that is a lot of binge watching. And I know these kind of old school animes like the big 3, including Bleach, when you're waiting week by week, you'd always get about 5 or 6 minutes of filler or recap in it, which on a week by week basis isn't too bad. But when you're watching them, binge watching them, and especially if you haven't seen the series before, it's just a lot of repeat and a lot of repetitiveness, so the episodes get shorter and shorter and shorter for what you want to really watch in it. And it's always been a big issue with older anime. New anime is not so bad with that. I've not fully finished Black Clover at the moment. I think I can't remember how far I got into it, over 100 episodes now, but that's a little bit similar. It does do that horrible recap all the time, which is annoying, and it does that same massively long intro before the intro, which is just a waste of time. It's like the film trying to fill dead space because I haven't got enough to put in that episode, but when you actually start watching it, there is actually a lot going on. They could just cut that out completely. But luckily, a lot of animes are doing that. They're getting rid of most of that filler, getting most of that recap gone. But yeah, speaking of recaps and that as well, that's one thing I wish Crunchyroll had, which was a skip button. Just like Netflix and Prime and things like that, I wish it had a skip button for the intros. Normally when I watch a new series, I'll watch a little bit of the intro and some of the outro. After that, I actually don't care. I want to get straight into the content. So I always end up skipping straight to it, and when it gets to the end, even though there's like a little preview bit at the very end, I've normally not even ever watched that, because it's normally preview the next episode, which to me, I want to wait and see what happens in the next episode. I don't want that little kind of teaser. I know sometimes they do put extra little bits in, or they put this kind of chibi style mess around kind of thing at the end, which I'm not too keen on. I just want the main content. And that would be a great thing and a great addition if Crunchyroll would add on a skip button for the episodes. Be absolutely ideal. You can come in, you can watch the little intro section, and before it gets to the actually music intro, you can just go up there, go skip, go on, let's get back into it, let's get into the action, let's get watching this, and let's go, so then I'm not wasting as much time, and I can go straight into the next episode if there's another episode out, or go to another series and watch that new episode. It's one thing they really should have done, especially since Crunchyroll's been around for so long now, and a lot of the people that used to do the fan service dubs back in the day with the when you had to get BitTorrent out, as I mentioned. If I remember correctly, a lot of people, some of the people from that team who used to do it actually went on to create Crunchyroll. So they know what people want, but they're just not add that little tiny feature in for some reason. Maybe I'm just the odd one out and there's too many people out there who just love to watch every single intro and outro. To me, it's just too repetitive and boring. That's why when Crunchyroll does the anime awards and it's got the best intro, best outro, I'm like, I don't remember this. I can't, and sometimes I do remember them and I know them, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not fussed. I just want to see what happens in the anime, storyline, the development of the characters, and essentially, is it good, is it bad? By the way, I'm not as objective, I guess, with my anime than some of our people might be. I used to watch literally anything I could get my hands on. When you had that torrent service, it was like, I want to watch something new, you just find something there and don't know what it really is, download it, see what it's like, and just go from there. These days, I'm a lot more pickier. I do only watch fantasy, action most of the time, with isekais in it. I will every so often go to some slice of life here and there, but I just like the punchy action, straight into it, fight. But I was brought up in like the 80s anyway. I was a massive like martial arts movie fan, so I watched like Jackie Chan and Jean-Claude Van Damme. I loved all the old action stars. I had lots of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, Sylvester Stallone, and of course you had Nicolas Cage. The main ones for me were always Stallone, Arnie, Jackie Chan, then on the like Jet Li, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all these movies. That's the kind of thing I was always in. So even now I still love me martial arts movies, and I think that's why I now prefer, rather than just like going to watch everything I possibly can get a hold of, just watching all the action ones that I think I'm really going to enjoy. And I know, don't get us wrong, there's a lot of series out there, like I've watched Food Wars, enjoyed Food Wars, makes us hungry every single time I'm watching episodes. I've always got to have a snack of some sort there ready, because if not, I'm just going to get hungry through it anyway, even though it's not real food, but it just like stimulates the brain that way, so it's like, might want food. And I know like, is it Haikyuu, the basketball one? There's loads of like, Free, I think it was, the swimming one, loads of basketball ones and sports ones, which I've been told are so good, but I'm not a sports person. I'm really not a sports person. Couldn't care about watching football, American football, rugby, cricket, golf, whatever it's going to be. I just find that boring and just dull. It just doesn't interest us all. I'd rather sit there and watch a martial arts movie, watch some anime, get lost in YouTube, and ignore the sports. Playing sports, fair enough. If I got offered to play some sports, fair enough. I enjoy doing stuff like that. I like getting into the action, but just watching, not for me. But speaking of watching, did you watch my 500 subscriber giveaway video? I hope you did, because I have picked a winner. I have contacted that winner, and I'm just waiting for that winner to get back in touch with us, so then I can confirm address and get that parcel out to them. Since they haven't got quite back in touch with us yet, I am not going to announce the name, and that's only because if I can't get in touch with them, can't get their address, then I'm either going to have to pass it on to someone else, or hold it for the next giveaway instead and add it to the next giveaway. Hopefully the person will get back in touch, and again, I massively appreciate everything from every single one of you, every single subscriber, every single view, like and comment has been massively appreciated. Going back to Bleach, and that it's got a lot of different things to compete with in this next coming season. Chainsaw Man's coming out. I've read 1 or 2 of the manga so far, really enjoying it. It's been massive hype everywhere as well. People are absolutely loving the series. You can't go anywhere without actually really hearing about it. That's coming out. The next season of My Hero Academia is coming out, so of course I'm going to be watching that. There's obviously like a billion pops of My Hero behind us, and that's just a few of like many that are coming out. So there's going to be loads of other series that Bleach has to compete with, and if Disney does not do the simulcast, they're going to lose out so much on it. Because there'll be so many people out there who don't actually have Disney Plus, which will be willing to pay for Disney Plus during this period that Bleach is getting released. It's not really a good move for Disney in the slightest if they do it this way, not in the slightest. But I think that will wrap it up for this week. Again, as soon as the winner gets back in touch with us, I'll announce it in the next upcoming video. As soon as they get back in touch with us, they'll let you know who won, and of course get that shipped out to the winner. And even though there wasn't as many people entering as I thought there might have been, don't mind at all. Don't care if there's only one person viewed it and 1 person entered it. I don't care. I just wanted to give something back to you all. And because of that, I am going to be adding in a couple extra little bits in to say thank you to that person and to it's got to sound like everyone else. I do want to say thank you to everyone else, but to that person for entering and of course winning. I'm going to put a few extra little things into the box which I hope they're going to love. My name's been Daniel. This has been the Twisted Geek Podcast. I hope you all have an awesome weekend, and I'll catch you next Friday. Cheers.